Welcome to Swagger's Lifestyle.
There is no other way. You want to know somebody, create time for them and then observe. Most of the lessons learned are through what they see.
Is it not possible for parents, when they feel that they are being vigilant, it could actually turn to or develop into paranoia?
No, not being too vigilant. You want to find out about somebody, you ask them. That's at an age.
Yes.
But if you're talking about a child, that's why we would have even tried to define what we mean. But if we're talking about a person of, let's say, 4 or 5, yeah, he can talk, but there are some things he would not know how to express, only when you watch. So if he's a teenager, for instance, he will need his space because he has attained puberty. He thinks he has gotten to that point of self, exploration and discovery. Yeah. He wants to find himself. I'm not saying put a bell on his throat or keep tabs on him. I'm saying watch. It could be some walking steps. It could be dressing. It could be something we suggest, because there's been a pattern before. Yeah. If any slight change, it's not like, okay, this child has changed to something like this. Okay, what's happening? No. You watch, you observe. Parents need to know that they don't need to talk all the time. And they also need to know that they need to be very observant. Is it the stress from work that is there to not even make you notice? But anytime you are around, make sure you are around. Let your presence be known. Yeah, children tend to adapt to do things because they feel an adult is around. How about the things they are doing that you don't?
When you're not even around.
But there would always be a loose end. That is what you should always look out for.
So parenting actually feels like a full-time job.
It's a lifetime job, like I said. Once you are one, you always be one. Even when it seems like you are no more, because let's assume maybe the child leaves town and he's doing things, he's living his life. You are still a parent.
No, that's true.
Because it's not about calling. You are a parent in that, whether prayers, whether looking out for them, whether asking people to make sure they assist them one way or the other.
Or going to check their social media accounts.
You understand?
What is she posting? What is this saying? Okay. So as a parent, how can you be a part of your child's life?
First and foremost, everything, like I said, starts from the basics. That's foundation really matters. If you have always been there for the child will always would always want to be around you. If you've always been if you've always been creating the right atmosphere for the child would look forward to being around you. So it even gets easier that way. So growing up, they would still they trust you, right? So when you build that trust, every other thing will be very easy.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of parents are not friends with their kids. It's just like maybe the father, the lord to a subject kind of system.
So that system doesn't work, especially in modern day now. It doesn't even work.
Yeah, then when they grow up, the parent is trying to form friends, and the child is like, hello,
yeah.
I don't know you like that. And you can't just come after how many years now to start trying to get like a relationship where there was. So it starts from when the child is actually young. That is when you can actually develop that. So I think we should note that and then work on that. What are the skills required for child parenting? Nature makes us parents. Yes.
Right? When I give birth to a child, I become a parent, and there is no lesson I must have learned. But I think in Africa here we have my parent come over to my place to show me how to do some certain things. Right? That's the omugo people do, right?
Yes.
And that's bathing the child, preparing the child for the day and all of that. I've learned that, right? Maybe she does that for a month or 2 or 3 for some time. Now, people fall back on their maybe religious societies to assist. People talk to friends. People compare kids. You know, but for we there are some at some parts certain age there are certain things you should look out for. You know, the next age you look out for this. So there are things.
So can you just give us like examples?
Well, okay. For instance, if a 4-year-old or 3 or 4-year-old girl child always wants to be with the father, as a mother, I should not feel bad. Because there's something, if, like, for instance, if the boy child is always with the mother, I shouldn't feel bad as a father. Because of, it's a stage, it's the Oedipus stage. It's expected. And then the next stage will now be that there will be a balance. So if without that insight now, for instance, a father can be like, is it that this boy loves the mother more than me? At that time, it seems as if the dad is not even there. You know, so that's like an example. Another one is if the child is not talking at maybe age 2, you can't even start talking, then you should be worried. Or at 3 months, he can't even control his head. I know there's a problem. Or at 6 months, 4 to 6 months, he can't sit. There's a problem. You know, all these things, you know, and at birth or at, let me say at age 7, he cannot even comprehend arithmetic. Because between 7 and 11, the guy should be able to understand arithmetic. Like, he knows then, okay, at age between 4 or 6, he cannot know that this box is bigger than this box. So all those things, it comes with age. With the cognition, everything should align.
Okay, so what then are the skills that this parent must possess to be able to know all of this when they see?
Most of the time, like I said before, people compare children. My child is eating. Yes, that's what they do majorly. Others is people get concerned. Let's say, for instance, a mother notices that the child is not eating. Like, most of the time, the inexperienced mother will rush to the hospital to my child. It could be teething. It could be uncomfortable. Could be many reasons. Some people stopped maybe breastfeeding and they started introducing them to, you know, local food. The child can revolt and you can. So people, like I said, there is no, except you know, you don't know.
Okay, so would you advise parents to read books before?
Yeah, there's no end to knowledge, like I said. There's not too much knowledge as well. So as much as you can have the privilege to learn, make sure you learn. There are things you should look at. And then I think the nurses and the medical practitioners always advise, you know, they always encourage, you know, the postnatal health care. Don't be far from the clinic, not because there's an issue, or at least to get, and then always have readily someone a medical person you can always talk to, or any trustworthy practitioner in this field that you can, you know, also meet. And, you know, in this part of the country, the schools are not really making it easy because it's even difficult to employ a psychologist.
It's not about, money for them.
Yeah, so the head teacher or the headmaster or the class teacher is, you know, saddled with the duty of a psychologist too. It's pretty much cumbersome in this part of the world.
What do you advise? Do you think, like, you know, for example, everybody is advised to have health check.
Yeah.
So do you advise that you should take your kids to a psychologist for assessments every time?
No,
Or
I
is
mean,
it until when maybe you are seeing that there's fire on the mountain, there's a problem, before you can seek that?
at least between the age of 0 to 1, the child would visit any clinic for quite a number of time, and then that's most of the times for immunization. Any immunization day majorly is like a check day, apart from just getting the immunization, because you have to be you'll be in the presence of medical people and also many other children. And if you're a Christian, whenever you go to church, you will see other children. So you have like a yardstick, or you can always, yes, but it's not, you can't just be going to the hospital, or you can't just be going to the clinic. And even you're an individual, when you see that there's a change, then you know you need to find out why.
Okay.
When I say change, for instance, maybe the child is always crying, unconditional, just crying, and they say it's not eating, then you know that's an example of, yeah.
Okay, so what are the tips to handling an abused child?
Now, the age is what we'll have to look at the factors. We'll look at the age, we'll look at the degree of abuse, we'll look at the context of the abuse. So maybe you give me an example, then.
Okay, so let's look at probably maybe the child is being molested.
How old?
Say let's look at formative years, between 2 to...
And now you are aware that has happened.
Because based on, okay, you've been observing, you know that there's a problem, and that has happened. So how then did you step in and then help that child?
Okay, first off, you need to have identified that, yeah, there's a problem. You have known the cause of the problem. So the next thing would be to terminate the cause of the problem. When I say terminate, could be to take legal actions, it could be to handle the case, you know.
Okay, let's say all that has happened.
Now, you want
for that child. That child has been through trauma.
Yes. So all behaviors that were learned can be unlearned. So it now, if an experience was encountered, it must have triggered a certain kind of behavior. So it's now therefore the responsibility of whoever is in charge of that child to create another experience constantly, always, over time, that can change. For instance, maybe a child was abused physically. Maybe the house help in the house was always beaten by this. The child was always beaten by the house help, and maybe the parents went around and they discovered that all this mark on the child is as a result of battery. Okay. After making sure that child doesn't face that, thing again, that battery stops. The child is feeling pain, he's not enjoying it. So if it's not an experience that seemed, because no child would even enjoy physical abuse, even if it's genital abuse, it is not going to be enjoyable. They are going to, it's not comfortable for them. They are not seeing it, they cannot see it as good. So when that stops, and it stops, so it stops. And then sex education. So with time, as they grow, you let them understand, because without knowledge, you're in darkness. What you don't know, you don't know. So when you start to put it to them that this happened, this can happen. So with knowledge, there's light. Most of people would not even come out to talk about these things. But the more you talk about it, the more you know about it, then whatever you make of the knowledge would now, form what you will become. It's not now a question of you didn't know or you had no privilege to make it different. The privilege is now yours because you now know. So what you don't know could have been an issue. And now that you know, and I'm saying this over the years, it happened when the child was between 2 to 5, right? And now he has grown because a child was abused at that age doesn't mean the child will not live. You won't breathe again. You will breathe. So let's assume that is affecting academics. Would have to let the child understand the importance of academics. Would have to let the child know that you need to attain some level of academic feat to achieve certain productivity in your life, notwithstanding what had happened, and would also have to reconvince the child that we are there for them. So when you let the child know that, yeah, that happened and it's my own fault, it's not your fault, they trust you more and you can even safeguard them and they will let you know. And then when they know that they are doing what pleases you as their guardian and you are also looking out for them, it gets easier, that way.
Thank you so much. I've actually learned a lot and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. So we've come to our giveaway session. Yay! So what do you have for us?
Well, if there be any need for any of our viewers or anyone out there to find any help, I'll always be available, or I'll be there to help in the best way I can with the knowledge I have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So all you have to do is subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, and then follow him too on Instagram, and then reach out to us from on swaggerslifestyle@gmail.com, and then we will link you up with him and he can actually counsel you for anything that you're going through psychologically. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Hope you learned a lot. I learned a lot of things. I still remain Gbogbo Swagger, and this is Swagger's Lifestyle. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and then turn on your notification and also comment. Till we see next time. Stay true to yourself, be good, observe your children, and be friends with your kids. Take care.